And welcome to this edition of the Native News Update on this Tuesday, June 28th. I'm your host for today's program, Paul DeMain. And many of the stories read here can also be found at our website, IndianCountryNews.com. Here are some of the news stories from the day from the Associated Press and other Native news services. The U.S. Supreme Court has declined to consider an Oklahoma tribe's appeal regarding a lawsuit over whether tribal citizens who live and work in Osage County are exempt from state income taxes. The nation's high court denied the Osage Nation's petition for a writ of certiorari, leaving intact a 2009 U.S. District Court ruling. In a 2001 lawsuit against the Oklahoma Tax Commission, the tribe claimed Congress never affirmatively disestablished its 1.5 million acre reservation in northeastern Oklahoma, and that federal law exempts tribal members who live and work there from paying state income taxes. After the 10th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals upheld the district court decision, the tribe asked the U.S. Supreme Court for a review. Principal Chief John Red Eagle said he's really disappointed with the decision. Cass County authorities in Minnesota are investigating the fatal shooting of a woman in the Cass Lake area of northern Minnesota. Sheriff Tom Birch says it was reported around 3:15 a.m. Last Sunday. Deputies arrived to find 22-year-old Candace Dunn dead of an apparent gunshot wound. A 27-year-old Cass Lake, Minnesota man, Ross Littlewolf, was arrested by Leech Lake Tribal Police and is being held in the Cass County Jail pending charges. A Bureau of Indian Affairs officer on the Fort Peck Reservation has been convicted of corruption charges related to embezzlement from the tribe's loan program, the U.S. Attorney's Office there said. Florence White Eagle, 63, was found guilty of conspiracy, theft from a tribal organization, bribery, concealment of public corruption, and misrepresentation of a felony in a jury trial last week in Great Falls. Sentencing was set for October 27th. Prosecutors allege White Eagle, as BIA superintendent, took out a $15,000 loan from the Fort Peck credit program while helping co-conspirator and former supervisory credit manager Tony Graybold to suppress a complaint by Graybold's mother that fraudulent loans had been taken out in her name. Graybold passed away in March of 2008. The Cherokee Election Commission says Principal Chief Chad Smith has defeated longtime Councilman Bill John Baker and won re-election to a fourth term by 7 votes. Unofficial results reported and released Sunday showed Baker unseating Smith by 11 votes. The Cherokee Nation is one of the nation's biggest, with a membership approaching 300,000 people, even though only 15,211 people cast a vote. The campaign between Smith and Baker was often contentious, with the two men combining to spend nearly $500,000 seeking the chief's job, probably a record in Indian country elections. Commission Clerk Joyce Gord said she wasn't there when commission members certified the election results and doesn't know why the unofficial results were overturned. The final count was 7,609 votes for Smith and 7,602 for Baker, she said. Smith, who announced plans to challenge the election results shortly before they were overturned and declared the winner, said he was pleased. A Baker staff member issued a statement saying the development was shocking and that all options were being reviewed. According to the Cherokee Nation Constitution, they have until tomorrow to challenge the election results and ask for a recount. The finding of 3 sets of American Indian remains in Oak Harbor, Washington, is delaying a $7 million construction project while tribes, the city, and the state decide how to move forward. But the state's Department of Archaeology and Historic Preservation says the delay could have been avoided by the city if the city had followed their suggestion to employ an archaeologist. The construction site sits near a known archaeological site. The skeletons could be hundreds of years old. The Herald of Everett reports that construction had been stopped for 2 days after the remains were discovered on June 16th. The project is meant to make Oak Harbor more pedestrian-friendly to attract more foot traffic there. Mayor Jim Slowick says he has asked for a review of why the recommendation was not followed. A citizens group trying to shut down the Seneca Indian Nation's Buffalo Casino is raising questions about the U.S. government's decision to allow gambling at the site. A new federal court filing by Citizens Against Casino Gambling in Erie County takes aim at a 2009 finding by the National Indian Gaming Commission. In it, the commission found that land the Senecas bought in Buffalo qualified for a casino under Indian gaming laws. Previous interpretations of the law had found just the opposite. Now the citizens group says a government lawyer involved in the reversal had a conflict of interest because of a personal relationship with a lobbyist whose firm works for the Senecas. The group wants access to all documents related to the reversal. The United States government has yet to respond to the request. Governor Gary Herbert of Utah has appointed a new director for the state's Indian Affairs Office. Shirlee Silversmith will lead the division of the Utah Department of Community and Culture. She replaces longtime director Forrest Cooch, who was fired in February. Silversmith is a member of the Navajo Nation who was raised on Arizona's White Mountain Apache Reservation. She holds a bachelor's degree in secondary education from Brigham Young University and a master's degree from Arizona State University. Herbert's office says members of the Utah's tribes participated in the candidate review process. And join in an evening with our local friend and relative and ICTV supporter and Shilling Media Inc., who presents Michael Bucher live at the Jewish Mother in Virginia Beach, Virginia on Thursday, June 30th, 2011 at 8 p.m. And that's going to be the latest roundup of news from Indian Country on this edition of the Native News Update. Thanks for joining with us, and come back again soon. Miigwech.